Hey guys, how are you doing? I pray that you're having an amazing day. I pray that the Lord has been with you and I pray that you are uplifted today. Okay guys, so I promised the last time I do a segment for girls on the last video I did with my friend Aaron. Yeah, so that's definitely coming. But this segment we're just going to be talking about singlehood. What does singlehood look like in the society today? And another thing, I want to just apologize. I was literally tired the last time. Proper tired on the inside, yeah. So the best way to keep myself going without falling asleep was just crazy cuckoo talk, which I did a little bit of, and I felt like I was constantly interrupting Aaron, so I want to apologize Aaron now. But on the flip side as well, my phone battery was like at 20%, so I had to literally get everything in without it cutting off, otherwise you would have had a cut video. So that was another reason I had to kind of keep wrapping it up. But without further ado, I am actually going to introduce Aaron again, because we're going to do another video about singlehood, what it looks like today. So Aaron, where are you at?
Hey guys, good to be back.
Cool. So how's your day been today? It's been good. Seen peppermint tea, right? Is it mint tea or peppermint?
Peppermint.
Tea.
It's peppermint, a type of mint, so you're not far off.
Cool. Now that's amazing.
Yeah, you should try it. If you haven't tried peppermint tea before, listen, try it. You don't know what you're missing.
See, he is sipping on a tea there. He's chilling. He's looking good, but yeah, he's just chilling and looking chill, no issue. But yeah, today we're just going to be talking about just what singlehood looks like. So obviously myself and Aaron, we're two singles, and you know, obviously we know in this society today that people and singlehood just don't mix. Everybody wants to be shacked up. You know, you can't find platonic friends anymore who are just like, one is a girl, one is a boy. Well, except for us, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we're
Yeah.
right. You know how it is.
This is my brethren right here.
Exactly. So you can be platonic, and you know, maybe part of that is what helps it is our faith as well. So we'll be talking about that. But I'm gonna let Aaron take over this time because I feel like I've spoken enough, and let him just talk about what singlehood is like. I can talk from it from a woman's perspective. Aaron will also do the same from a man's perspective, but we're gonna talk about it on a mixed scale. So Aaron, I'm gonna let you take it away now. What does singlehood look like to you in this society today?
Freedom from nagging. No, seriously. It's really that season, that preparation time where, you know, you just really get to know yourself, as well as, you know, getting to know God, and, you know, just really establishing, okay, like, this is the pathway, this is the direction that I want to go in life. You know, whether you're a Christian or not a Christian, everyone can relate to this. And in establishing that, when it comes to actually, you know, meeting that other that God assigns you, you know, you have already known, like, you know, I am running in this direction, like, this is the ministry, this is the how God particularly wants me to serve. So when it comes to speaking as a man now, a woman who is essentially messing around, who doesn't seem to know where she wants to go in life. Not that, you know, some people actually follow Christ and they have absolutely no idea, you know, what God wants them to do. Some people actually give up their career ambitions like that. But it's just really, yeah, getting to know yourself, actually learning to be, you know, responsible with things like, you know, money, time management, actually, you know, getting to know your inner circle and your outer circle. I'll say that's the benefits of singlehood for me right now. And yeah, and also you get to take a step back and actually analyze, well, you know, what is the most important thing in life? I mean, even if you know, even if I never got married, never had children or anything like that, you know, if I am secure in Christ, if I have my salvation, then really that's all that matters. Everything else is just complementary to it, and it flows out of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's really like learning to contextualize things, and especially, you know, men, I spoke last time about, you know, shacking up, like, oh, you're supposed to be getting this girl, that girl, but you actually just find that actually, no, life's a lot deeper than that, and life is actually so much more than, you know, than stripping this and that.
Do you know what? That's an amazing answer, but yeah, more to come from Aaron. So I feel like I can definitely relate with that, and I think it's true. I think the perks of being single is just actually knowing what life is all about. You actually having the ability to discover and to just really live life from a more freer scale. That's not to say, and we're going to get into that actually. We're going to get into what potentially God says about relationships, or maybe how it's misconstrued today in society. But it does. Singlehood is a time for you to celebrate. It's just like the time when you get married. I believe personally, the time you get married is a time to celebrate, but also your singlehood is also a time to celebrate as well, because you really get to do stuff that maybe you don't always have the chance to do when you are married. And so it's something though that we don't really see in society anymore. We see now, or if you don't have a boyfriend, if you don't have a girlfriend, then you're not living life, and that's really not true. And I think this video is to encourage those who are courting, or those who haven't met anybody yet, to just really just take some time out to thank God for your singlehood, because that time when you do tie the knot and it comes, it's going to be a whole new different scale, and God really wants you to enjoy Him as well now, and also enjoy life. So, all right. So, Aaron, so what do you think when we talk about people just kind of coming into relationships in society now? What do you think? How do you think society paints relationships, and do you think it's really healthy how it paints relationships?
Well, society generally paints couples, relationships in a way that's, I spoke about it last time. A lot of the time it's sexualized, or even if they're not sex crazy, it's a lot of cohabitation. So you're basically living together, without the ring. That's not God's order. Painted as in like, well, he's fit, she's fit, or just because like one of them like smiles at each other, that's when you get gassed. So let's get on. Yeah, and then somewhat like competition as well. Like some people only get 100%. In relationships just purely because someone else is in a relationship, 100%. And they're trying to get one over them, like brownie points or like some kind of status or image.
100. You know what? I like what you just said there, Aaron. Exactly. The thing with competition is actually what bothers me the most. I see it in two ways, because I think you said something significant. It's competition either as, I am in this relationship because my friends or my brother or whoever is in a relationship, or number two, when I am in the relationship, I just have these really nasty pangs of jealousy, and I really want to explore that, I think, because I really feel like marriage should not be a prison. It shouldn't be, but the way some people make it look, or some couples, and I mean, it's just some things I've seen, it's like, wow, in the Bible it says one should put 1,000 to flight and two should put 10,000 to flight, and it's just like, oh my God, like, the way it's going on here with some of these people, they're not going to put anybody to flight because everyone's like in a prison, so I mean, for me personally, I just think it's so unhealthy, because I believe that when two people are together and they really know that it's something that God has ordained and live together, no one can take that other person away from you. Whoever tries to, God Himself will move that person out. But I just feel like I see so much jealousy in relationships these days. Like, even if somebody's potentially just saying something about an opposite, for example, an opposite gender, let's say it's a woman who says, oh, that guy's really great, he's awesome, and maybe from a man's perspective, that your wife is a faithful woman, she's not going to do anything with that man, she's just giving a compliment. Sometimes I've seen in past that you just see these elements of just pangs of jealousy just, come up. And I'm talking about, born again Christians here. I'm not talking about just, I'm sure there are some in the, who are not Christians who have that. And then, or maybe you might just have the thing of, let's say from a woman's perspective, her husband might say something nice about somebody who's a woman, and you just have this irrational, pang of jealousy, and it's like the husband's having to constantly make it up. I'm like, where is the trust? It is very annoying. I think, where's the trust there? But 10, 20 years ago, you didn't have this sort of thing. And I listen, I'm 30, so I've not really been around for that long, saying 10, 20 years ago. But I just remember seeing like different scenarios, just remembering from like 10, 11 time, and it was just so healthy. So what do you think, Aaron? Why do you think society has now become so imprisoned with this mentality of me, like, especially in relationships? What do you think is happening there?
Well, to be honest, Sophia, the longer this earth actually stretches into history, like, you know, the darker it becomes, you know. So selfishness increases, jealousy increases, paranoia increases, the need to control even your spouse increases.
Crazy.
And
But why do you think that is though? Why do you think people want to control your spouse?
I think because human beings are naturally stubborn. You know, we like things a certain way, we have certain expectations, and if anything goes outside of that, we feel like oh, we're not in control, like oh, like life is gonna crumble. So that desperation to paint this construct this reality that we actually want, we end up actually crossing the lines by actually, you know, we want to like build up a kind of life for ourselves, a kind of status for ourselves, but at the expense of someone else's feelings, like, you know, their life, you know, what do they want? And I guess we kind of forget that, you know, it's well, two become one in the marriage, but you know, it's two participants in the marriage. You know what I mean? And especially if you come from that kind of background where, like, you know, it's or traditionally speaking, like the alpha male, like the macho man, like you know, everything the man says goes to the extreme point that the woman is literally like, you know, her mouth is literally tied, like she can't even ask questions or, you know, sincerely just express, you know, concern or just worries in a particular area. It's just crazy, and I think media has also played a part in that, because, you know, you consider like all the, if you consider like all the, like the movies, the music, like the images, you know, like you can hardly like go to any like big major public area around here before you actually see like a clothing shop, and it's pretty much the male or female mannequins, they're dressed up pretty much in a very suggestive way, or at least we think it's a suggestive way. You know, there's many, like, you know, beautiful men, beautiful women.
Right on, I like that, Aaron. That's,
you know, there are like Jezebels around. Like, there are people who actually come, like, you know, speaking to these couples, whether they're courting or they're married, with the intention of getting in the way, coming between them. So you got all of these things coming on, and maybe some people have actually experienced such things in previous relationships. You know, it just gets them thinking a certain way. They anticipate the worst, and then they end up becoming the very thing that they hate. So it's a variety of things. This is
why I invite Aaron on, a man of wise words. Aaron, I couldn't have put that better myself, man. That's wisdom right there. I can't add anything to that. So I'm just gonna, I can't, because I think you just took the words right out of my mouth. Exactly. I think, taking from what Aaron just said, the worst thing is becoming the very thing you hate. And I think for me, what's sad is I see these amazing people, and yet they're just so full of venom, so controlling, and just so overly jealous. And you're just thinking, but didn't God call you to be with that person? You know what I'm saying, Aaron? Like, literally, God calls you to be that person.
What God has put together, let no man put asunder.
Come on, say it straight.
So it really comes down to this: like, do you really trust God? And if you're gonna get paranoid every time, you know, whether you're a man or woman, like someone of the opposite sex is actually speaking to your significant other, and like they're just saying hi, they're just talking about their life, and like, obviously, who wants to be looking at someone who's screwing? So obviously they're gonna smile if that much of a decent person.
Just social.
I mean, if you recognize that God put you together, then why are you gonna get paranoid? And even if someone's gonna try it, will God not give you discernment in that area? Like, will it not become obvious? Yeah. So what are you stressing for? Obviously, there's wisdom. Like, you know, you detect it, then you gotta do your part and move away. But if it's not that deep, then come on, just calm down. Like, marriages actually get ruined because of that. Marriages actually get ruined because you're actually getting worked up about something that's not even there.
Aaron, you see, the fire is now coming out because he's preaching well. Hey, I have nothing to say to that. That's amazing. Listen, if it's one thing you take from this video, it's just exactly what he just said. Do you not trust God? And I think that word goes across the scale for even singlehood. Do you not trust God? You know, singles, we should be living our best life right now. We should be just happy and just so thankful with the opportunities we're going to get and how we can bring those opportunities into marriage when God calls the time is right. And you know what? I'm talking about this whether you're a Christian, transitioning in your Christian walk, or perhaps you're considering it, whatever your stand is right now. Listen, live your best life. There's only one life to live. Like I said, I'm going to do my testimony one day, but I had the incredible experience of understanding what it's like to actually have a loved one pass, and they were very young. And let me tell you, it's the worst thing in the world to know that someone didn't actually fully get to live. And so now, and I've always had this perspective, but it's been really re-emphasized that singlehood, married, courting, there's nothing wrong with any of those stages. What's wrong is the mentality that people go into it with. And I really believe it does come down to this. Do you trust God? Do you really believe that God has your best interest at heart? Then why do you worry? Why do you worry if you're married? Why do you worry if you're courting? Why do you worry if you're single? Why worry?
Maybe it's because some people actually, they recognize they didn't check with God and they're trying to do it themselves.
Love it.
That's the risk there.
That's another, and Aaron actually touched on that. Those who don't talk with God, those who don't about the one that they're dating, give us some insight into that. What potentially does that look like?
Well, honestly, it's lust, it's desperation, it's, you could be doing that out of duty to your culture, to your family, just because you just don't want to wait. Yeah, all manner of things, or you're just that selfish. If this actually applies to you, I'm not saying that every one of you who's watching this actually is selfish like that, but if you're feeling offended when I'm saying this, then this is for you. But yeah, and it's just one of those things. I mean, if you're really that so paranoid, then you really actually got a question not just do you trust God, but did God even confirm to you that this was the one for you?
What a statement.
And another point that I actually want to raise quickly is the fact that in singlehood, you actually learn to be led, because it's the hierarchy, if we can use that. It's God on top, then it's the husband, and then submitting to his God-given authority is the wife, and any children that they have. So in that, for the man, learning to be led again by God, and then being prepared to be led in how do you actually lead this family, and the woman, you gotta learn to be led. The man's gonna lead you. Doesn't mean that your value is going to be any less. It's just how God's just set it up, and that in and of itself is a reflection of Jesus himself being the bridegroom and the church being the bride. So you actually have a blessed position, like where you are actually. So think about that. Think about that.
But you know what, Aaron, you just touched on something exactly. The woman has is going to be led, and women. That's why you've got to pray for the right one. That's the point. You can't submit to something that God has not called you for. And I'm talking about this even to the ones who are, whether in relationship, and this goes for everyone. Your personality that God made for you, with you in as a person, when he had you in mind, when he made you, is unique. And I really believe that the right person will celebrate every element of that. I was talking to this actually with Aaron just a few hours ago, and I said, you know what, there's that, and as we're on our way coming here to do this, we actually met two married couples, one married couple, two of them, a woman and a man, and their relationship was just stunning. It was beautiful. The understanding they had, they were able to banter, to joke like they were two separate people, but at the same time, because they've been around each other so much, and the woman is so naturally talkative, the man is not as talkative, but it was the fact that the man trusted the woman to talk to both myself and Aaron, like he wasn't even there, he wasn't like jealous and be like, oh, who is, like he was just chilling, because it's like, my wife is my wife, this is my wife, she's not going anywhere. And as we were walking, and I think I found out that they were believers. And I thought, what a great example of believers, who can actually show what a relationship is supposed to look like, what married couples today in the kingdom of God they ought to look like. And I say this to say that your personality, as I was saying, is unique. The person that God has for you will celebrate your personality, right? Your personality. But what's happening is when you don't wait, you might get involved. Let's say if you're a real sort of talkative person, expressive, you love people, whether they're men or women, you just love people with a pure heart, and maybe your spouse doesn't quite understand it, or the one you've chosen. So you're getting to this relationship, you're thinking, oh, I love this person, and this person just quite doesn't understand that you just like these people. So every little opportunity they see you talking maybe to an opposite gender, and it's just genuine from just a banter place, they get jealous. There's fire in the house. You're killing yourself in order to appease somebody, and it's just not fair. It's actually not fair. And also, God never called it to be that way. So this is where the dilemma comes in, and there's usually a divorce or some craziness that really shouldn't have happened. But the point is, did you ask God? Were you led? And this is, hopefully it's not going on into marriage. I'm just talking about one-off scenarios. But I'm sure there are many scenarios like that. But actually, even in courting, did God call you to be with that person? Are they celebrating your strengths and your weaknesses? Are they celebrating your personality? Or do you find yourself having to change or to chop and, just to make them happy? What about you? As much as you consider them, what about yourself? And that's the sad part, that many people kill their personalities and it becomes something completely different when they're with the wrong person. And I just want to say to you that, please don't discount yourself. When God created you, He created you just the way you are for a reason. You're not faulty, you're not broken, you're just perfect. I think Aaron wanted to add something.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you're with the wrong person, I heard someone else say this, but this is actually completely true. When you're with the wrong person, you're basically hogging up someone else's spouse.
Oh my God, what?
And then that person's hogging you up.
Wow. I don't think it can get any more simpler than that. But you know what, guys, I just want to, and I think on that note, I just want to end it and just say, please be yourself. Remember, there's only one you. I always say this, I think this is going to become my slogan, but there is only just one you. There is never going to be another you. And so you should never have to feel the need to change yourself for somebody if your personality is genuinely eclectic, it's bubbly, it's funny, you love people, or maybe you're a natural introvert, maybe you don't like talking that much, maybe you're not somebody who's like overly talkative. But I believe that God, when He had you in mind, He also had the right person for you in mind, and He knows to link you and that person up at the right time. So I say this, guys, and I think this is going to be my last one. But I hope you're blessed by this video. Again, I want to just say a big thank you to Aaron. Thank you so much, Aaron.
Thank you for having me again. Thank you for having me, guys. And yeah, man, God bless. Be blessed, be encouraged. Share this around as well.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. Please share it around. If you know somebody who's going,
people.
yeah, man. Woo, woo, woo. Praise God. Praise Jesus. But yeah, if you know somebody who needs to be encouraged by this, or maybe he's going through something, let them know, hey, God is with you. He's got you in mind, and when He created you, He knew the right person for you. And trust me, guys, it's not cliche. There is that person out there who understands you just for you. Don't settle for less just because you're desperate. God loves you, He created you, and He has amazing plans for you. God bless you, guys. Aaron will leave his Instagram. I think he left it on the other one, but he'll leave it again on this. So if you want to contact him for anything, just please let him know. And if you want to contact me, just comment and I will answer you back. Love you guys. God bless you. Bye.
Bye. Aaron_preach. Instagram.
All right. Cool. Bye, guys. Have a good one. Bye.